and then if we have to, again, come back next year and revisit as far as subsidizing part of that under the general operating budget by raising appropriate taxation, as opposed to through the revolving fund. But we haven't tried it yet. We haven't seen it. I mean, we have some pretty good indications from rec that it's going to be a painstaking process. It could adversely impact participation, but until it happens, we don't know. The rest of it, pretty cut and dry. Do you want a portion of your trash fees to be under your tax bill? And do you want to properly fund the school department budget? The rest of it's pretty, when we're talking about restoring overtime, that's why I voted against that particular item, we shouldn't be going for an override to restore overtime and things of that nature. So it's a small cap of $5,000 or $2,300 and things of that nature. So I think if we want to just clarify the issue for the public on the major portions of it, which is $560,000 worth, it makes it pretty clear, and people have a clear choice. And I think people would then have a pretty clear conscience as to whether or not and these other matters wouldn't necessarily muddy the water for people.
I want to leave it on the way it is. I think it's only fair to try to restore some of this. The override is under $1 million, which is what we were asked to do by some folks, and it's there. And I want to leave it.
I agree with Mr. Vino. One of the overwhelming messages of this entire process has been to spread it out over all the departments, and I think this is pretty equally spread out.
Do we make a motion? Before you make a motion, I want to bring up another issue. This came from Parks and Recreation, and that was that the DPW salary that was taken out,
$33,000.
$33,000. They had made a request that we restore that and take out of their budget $33,000. This would permit, they feel that this is a very important function for maintaining the parks, and that they would fund the what would take out of their shortfall from the revolving fund.
But they can't fund the position.
But they can't fund the position.
Unfunded,
From an operational standpoint, if that works better for them, I don't have a problem.
So would that be the money that we restored last meeting with the compromise when we gave them back the $25,000?
Yeah, plus,
Would be using that money?
Plus, so they take the 25 plus another 9 or 8, and they would move that out of their budget into.
Oh, we have the chair here, so let's hear it from Mike. If I got the understanding wrong, correct me, okay?
Well,
I think that's...
I just learned about it on my way in through the doorway, so I apologize. I had just heard Rita Mullen had a discussion with you this afternoon regarding this.
No, but I heard that this was a discussion that was brought up earlier, okay?
Yeah, and let me try to summarize it a little bit differently. You cut $45,000, which is Lynn's position, and then you cut another $25,000, which you already put back, and then you cut another $33,000, which is a DPW rep that supports parks.
Right.
Well, with Lynn's position, $45,000, which we didn't know this until just recently, that there's also, I guess, benefits that go along with that expense. Once it comes over to revolving account, we also now have to take on an additional $13,000 to cover her benefits. And I'm not sure if I even have my hands around that completely, because I assume when they talk about the benefits, us paying those benefits, which is roughly about $13,000, also has to go long-term for her if she's got some vacation buybacks and things like that in the future. If we don't have those budgeted in our account, then unfortunately, she will not be able to. Yeah. So hopefully you can give me some guidance there on that.
Well, I guess the way I thought it worked was we were just taking that amount of money out, and it was going to be supplemented by the recreation revolving fund.
I understand based upon conversation.
We didn't do anything with the benefits.
We didn't take any money out of the benefit package, so it's there.
So that's still there. That's still under.
We're going to make it for $45,000.
So if I wanted to buy back my vacation time, say I'm here 10 years and I'm still in revolving, and I want to buy back vacation and sick time, that's all coming from the town's operating budget, not from not revolving?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, the only thing that's
Oh, I
being
see.
transferred is the
They're
dollar
thinking
amount.
that
Haven't
it's
even given it any thought.
But basically, what's been done? No, but what's been done? No, but what's been done is a specific dollar amount has been allocated to come from the revolving fund as opposed to, if there's any residual, additional, that's coming out of the raise and appropriate.
Okay, we didn't have a clear understanding on it, so we wanna make sure we understand the true
That's
cost.
right, because when we hired Sheila Sturman, our secretary, out of our revolving, we were told all benefits have to.
Right,
Yeah,
but
that was a different-
That was a
that was
different
a different
situation. That was a new
All right,
position.
one-
All right, let
Okay.
Mr. Beliconis,
You know, I apologize if we haven't looked 10 years down the road in terms of your buyouts, but what you've said is that all benefits that are be paid for from the revolving fund, which includes health insurance and any other benefits that you'd be entitled to, Lynn. Whether that includes your buybacks 10 years from now, I don't really know, and I don't think that's really an issue that we need to resolve here this evening. I think that that's an issue that's down the road, and I would not want that to
Well,
be
I'm not
another.
necessarily.
No.
Lynn, would you let me finish, please? I don't want that to be another log on the fire that unfocuses the discussion. Okay, thank you.
And then, answering your question about the $33,000, because that position, again, is a DPW position that supports parks, also associated with that, one, we can't figure out what that position is. We don't even know we can't associate that 33,000 with anybody that supports parks, because there is that number doesn't fit anywhere, so we're not 100% sure where you came up with that number, so we're not sure if we're looking in the right area, so we can get some guidance there as well. And again, the additional question that goes along with that is, am I gonna have cost associated with, if you keep that 33,000 under my revolving, any costs associated with benefits and so on, it goes along with the 45,000. Am I gonna have to raise those funds as well?
yes, Mike, I think, as we made those cuts,
Keep it as is?
Keep it as is? It's a straight dollar amount. In other words, you have certain amount of funding allocated towards maintenance of the fields, and generally it's paid to the DPW. My guess is that's where the number came from. And that's the amount that represented the salary of, it might have been a part-time DPW, part of the time of a DPW employee. But as far as any residual costs in relation to pensions, benefits, and health insurance and all the rest, those haven't been touched, and they're not coming from your revolving fund. All we're doing is we're taking X number of dollars from the revolving fund to fund X number of dollars, as opposed to out of the raise and appropriate.
If I collect that, am I
So-
revolving, support that 33,000 from my revolving, I can still go to DPW operating side and grab those benefits, anything associated with that?
Yes.
the employee would still be a town employee.
Right.
I
It's
think
just a
that's
question of where they're getting, where the funding's coming from.
You're gonna take the salary out of the revolving fund?
Then,
Yes.
it's just as you raise and appropriate at town meeting,
No, nothing. If you're gonna take the salary out of it, you're gonna take the whole thing. You can't take part of it out of it.
Why?
this isn't a full-time position necessarily. It isn't the full DPW position. And right now, you're not funding,
The position is for 33,000, right?
my guess is that's what the allocation of resources necessary to be attributable to recreation to cover the cost of DPW doing the fields. Wasn't a specific person, a position.
And that's not one person's salary.
Right. One person's salary is more than that.
But I have to have someone do the work. So I have to go and acquire that support, bring in the resources in, do the work. And I'm assuming there's going to be some costs associated with benefits related to bringing a person for $33,000 to support Park and Recreation, which I understand the money should still be on the operating side in an account related to benefits. And I just want to make sure that we're all clear that I'm going to have the access to that money to support us for those expenses.
Joe, what's your concern, so that we understand?
Well, if you take the salary out of the revolving fund, then you have to take the benefit. But this is a different wrinkle. We're not taking the whole salary out of the revolving fund.
Basically, what you're doing is you're saying the DPW's salary account is gonna have an asterisk, of which $33,000 is gonna come from the recreation revolving fund to fund that position.
Right, and you can't take the benefits out of the revolving. They're
Right.
not going to be operating. You
Right.
have to-
Well, they're in there, we never took them out.
We never took
Joe.
them out. We never took them out.
Make sure I'm clear then, in Lynn's position, 45,000 and change is gonna come out of revolving, but her benefits still come out of operating.
We never took them out.
Yeah.
Never took them out.
Right.
Right.
Joe's saying we
No,
can't.
you're gonna take her full salary out of the revolving? You have to add in,
Why is that?
that's how they have, that's how the law reads. If you take a full-time salary, as long as you take the benefit,
So that
provided that you pay.
well, then I should take a portion of her salary and then take, and try to.
That's,
divvy it up. I mean,
this is not so
Okay.
difficult, not so difficult. Take the-
44,999.
Take the money out of the revolving fund.
I'm gonna ask this
do the whole
question, and
business.
Greg, is there a way to resolve this?
it work.
That we don't need to haggle over this meeting?
I'm sorry, but it's just,
Honestly,
it's
given the
$26,000
confusion
extra.
at the last second, I would leave it exactly as you wrote it last week. I recommend you take $25,000 out of the expenses as you funded it and leave the position on the override. I think that avoids any and all questions about mixing of monies and all the confusion. I really think it's easy to work out,
I
easy to
agree.
work out after the fact.
Well,
I
it's
really do.
$26,000, so it's a lot of money, that's why.
Easy to work out after the fact.
That's fine.
Yep.
So I'm not sure exactly.
I think, you know,
Think I cleared that up a little bit?
I think,
Cleared it up?
Cleared it up? No, I don't, Mike, I don't think you cleared it up.
No.
I don't think you cleared it up at all.
between, it's not necessarily the override issue so much as between now and town meeting, you know, get together with Joe, see what the best way to work it out. The
Yeah.
intent of the board was to take those chunks of money out of the budget to be funded through recreation's revolving fund through additional fees, basically.
And I could try to sum up this
The
30.
how of making it all work, I'm sure someone can figure that out.
Here was the request, and I'll try to clarify it for you, then I'll get off the table. Put back, take the $25,000 and take that back out of us, and make us collect that in revolving, but take that 33,000 and put that back into DPW, and let that, and not affect that at all, so we can continue to get that support from DPW. Let's not affect any of that, and we'll take, instead of it being 33,000, now it's only gonna be $25,000 cut instead of a $33,000 cut. So that's what the proposal was supposed to be. Because you gave us back the 25, what we're saying is, no, don't give us 25, give us the 33 back. And it makes it a little cleaner. Now, the 45,000 and the 25,000 is all out of Park and Rec, it has no effect on DPW. DPW will, hopefully will have a commitment from them to continue to keep supporting us, just like they ever did before.
I don't know that we have the 8.
We don't have it?
You want us to take 33, to go, instead of, you gave you back 25. If you wanna make that 33 out of the revolving fund, right? And then reinstate,
That's not what I'm saying.
but we don't have the 8. I know what you're saying. You're saying, forget the 25, I'll make a deal with you. Forget the 25, give us 33. Gee, that's a good deal. I'll take that. I'll take that deal. Give
We
me
don't have
33.
it.
I'll give you 25, you give me 33.
We don't have it.
That's not what I was.
No, we don't have the 8, Mike. I mean, I don't know, we've been squeezing every dollar.
I understand, but
Believe me,
the
Mike, it
confusion
breaks
comes
my
up with
heart,
the
it
benefits
breaks my heart to
associated with
cut rec. But,
Oh, we understand, and let me tell you, we're,
okay, but I'm saying,
we're ready to do that.
squeezed every dollar, we don't have the 8.
Oh, we understand, and we fully support everything you've done. Like, we appreciate everything you guys have done. We understand how difficult this is. We fully support the schools and all the costs associated with that. All we're asking for is, let's try to do this and try to make some sense of it too at the end of the day. Because we're learning some new information since all this has been done. I'm new to this when it comes to cutting positions, Lynn's salary and all the benefits associated with that. I don't think all of us have taken a deep breath to even give it a lot of thought. So I'm being told I could possibly have another $26,000 on this 100. Right now I have $107,000. I gotta go figure out how I'm gonna collect that. Now I have to add another $26,000 onto that. That's $133,000 I need to go out and try to resolve with my board how we're gonna collect that money each year. In addition to all the other things we do. So it's a challenge, not one that we're not willing to take on, but I just wanted you all to understand the challenge we have ahead of us.
Well, that $26,000 wasn't the intent of the board
I know what,
to put that burden on you,
we know.
and somehow it'll have to get fixed.
And again, if there's a reallocation in the way of a motion at town meeting that reallocates it from salaries to expenses, or, I don't care.
Well, if you're
You know.
fortunate enough to get this $200,000 reduction, then maybe there's some ways we
Michael.
can work on something there.
What I would do is I'd get together with Joe
Yeah, I will.
and work it out. We are meeting in advance of town meeting,
Yep.
although it'd be nice to have it on the handout sheet in advance. So, you know, if you can work out the changes, which, you know the intent of the board. Those are the cuts that were made.
Yep. We got it.
I think the board's flexible in
Dollar
terms of.
amount. It's a dollar amount more
Right,
than anything.
it's the dollar amount that
Yep.
needs to go, okay?
Thank you.
Can we actually make a motion and have a discussion about reconsidering the override
Well,
again?
you know,
I
we're,
don't think we ever really made a motion, we talked about informally, but.
you know, we have, make a
I
motion.
move